Welcome to Sandwich Seniority. I'm your host, Robbie Haig. My guest today is Jim Foley, who is president of Friends of the Council on Aging here in town. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
It's my pleasure. I would like to know a little about your background, or I would like the people of town to know a little about your background too.
I have a diversified background, if you want to call it that. I came to town in 1968 following my career, my service in Vietnam, and in 1971 I became a police officer in the town and served in Sandwich for over 29 years, retiring in 2001. Wow. 2000. Yeah. I also, during that time period, served with the Massachusetts National Guard, have 21 years of service with them. Probably more importantly, I was elected to the school committee for over 18 years.
Oh my goodness.
And
so you're not a stay-at-home guy at all, are you?
No. And I also served on two school building committees and also emergency management planning for the town. So I've been around, I've been involved and very active. So, and here I am now.
Giving a little back to the Council on Aging.
Yes, I have the time. I certainly feel that I have the energy. I hope I have the ability to help.
That's wonderful. So the Friends of the Council on Aging, I like to give a little background on that too. And of course, the first thing I like to bring out is that it's the Friends who bring in the dollars for the council.
The council is appointed by the council itself is appointed by the Board of Selectmen. They serve as representatives of the senior population. They advise and give reports to the Director of Senior Affairs, Jan Timmons. And what the Friends do is that we realized there was no way we could fundraise for things that we needed, be it from furniture to having outings to maybe even buying a van or maybe buying doors or windows for a building or what have you. Mm-hmm. So what we did is we formed the Friends. It's a nonprofit, state recognized, federally recognized, and we do fundraisers, and right now we have a big one going for a building campaign. Mm-hmm. And we also put on special events for, take for example, Oktoberfest, where we raise money for people that need assistance in heating during the winter months. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do. We bring money in, we support the Council on Aging, hopefully with finances as well as input.
Now, the Oktoberfest was held at a local restaurant here in town.
I can't say enough about the people down at the Aqua Grill. It was just done fantastically. The food was great, the atmosphere was great. Working with those people behind the scenes, it's just phenomenal. I just can't say enough about them. And my heart goes out to them in offering my thanks.
I thought it was wonderful for them to give up their day, a Saturday, to do this.
They literally closed the restaurant down for our event, and I won't forget that one.
Yeah. You can hardly do better than that.
No.
That's total giving.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and what other events? There was a most recent luncheon.
We did. We had a sort of a Halloween luncheon. Some people came in costumes at the Human Services Building, mm-hmm. And they elected me president of the Friends of Sandwich Council on Aging, and here I am today. The luncheon was put on by volunteers. It was minimal, $6 for a lunch, and it was spaghetti and meatballs, and let me tell you something, it was delicious. And
let me tell you something, it was delicious.
Yeah. So it was nice to see people there, mm-hmm. and they used the building the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was the name of the man who did the cooking?
His name was Alan Collado.
Nicolado, yep.
And he did yeoman's work. He made over 200 meatballs by hand. And they weren't the small little ones. I mean, they were meatballs.
Chugunta,
yeah. They were really.
You
good.
wouldn't want more than two of those.
No, that was about it. Yeah, he did great.
Yeah, it was very tasty.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was I gave a report at that point as to what our goals were going to be for the coming year. And what I said at that point was our goals is try to come up with a plan to get a senior center somewhere in town. You know, people look at the Human Services Building and they wonder, you have one. The Human Services Building was built in the 80s, not in one particular year. It took a couple of them. The students from the Upper Cape Regional School District, during the good weather, constructed that building. So it was done during
That's fascinating.
2.5 school years in order for that building to come to completion. What the town wanted with that building was some place to hold cultural events and meeting rooms and what have you. That's why the name sticks, Human Services Building. Right. And it's got one major meeting room and one small auxiliary room off of it, as well as the town nurses occupy offices. Right. And the director of aging also has, if you want to call it, offices. It's I refer to it as early closets, but
the space is very small.
Yes, it is.
And you have to walk around one person to get to an office.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
at least one person.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was built by the kids in town. I'm amazed
Yep.
that
It was interesting to watch, and it took time to do.
Sure.
And the building still stands, and but it's outlived its usefulness as far as what we can possibly do there.
well, considering how many seniors you have in the town of Sandwich.
I'm glad you brought that up. Since the census was made in 2010, a close look at numbers came up. And for the first time in a long time, we now realize that people over 60 years old in the town of Sandwich actually outnumber our school children.
Really?
We have approximately 3,770 school children, or school-age children, age 5 to 18. Yeah. And we have 5,400 plus seniors in town. Right. We stand at around 24.9, 25% of the population in town are senior citizens, or over age 60.
Yes.
17% are school age. And that's a significant number. And when you project your numbers out, and you have to at times for planning purposes, in the year 2021, 10 short years from now, the over 60 population in town will be approximately 45% of the town. The numbers are very large. They're very telling as to what's happening. The overall population in town went down a little bit, not much, but went down a little bit, mirroring what happened in Massachusetts as far as people moving out of the state. But the senior numbers are going up. And as a member of Friends, not necessarily as its president, but I'll speak as such, we have to plan as to what we need for our seniors 10 years from now.
Sure.
And we have to do it now.
Right.
When we built schools years ago, you didn't build for tomorrow, you built for the future tomorrows.
Right.
And you always did your 10-year windows out and taking a look, and you built towards that. And that's what we have to do now. The Human Services Building has one large room. With the number of services that are going to be required with our aging population, that room is inadequate. It used to be used as a meeting room for selectmen who now use the renovated town hall, and other meetings for conservation agents and all that stuff used to meet there. It's a building that's not handicap accessible.
Okay.
It's got a ramp out front, but that's about it. It's got a downstairs that it's got a half a cellar that you reach by a very steep stairs, similar to what you have at home, cellar stairs, or from the outside, which is not in compliance with ADA. And it's only half a cellar. It doesn't go completely underneath that building. it's funny because, as I said earlier, we share the upstairs with the town nurses. Downstairs, in that one little room that was down there, we share it with the emergency management, with the police and fire for emergency telecommunications, and we were sharing it with the rec department until they moved out to Oak Crest. So it's a universal catch-all building, not a senior center.
Yes. And it actually wasn't built as a senior center.
It wasn't.
Anyway.
It wasn't built for a senior center. It was built to be a human service, to give an opportunity for people to meet somewhere.
Very good. And I would like to bring up that the numbers of, it's the seniors in towns who make most of these things possible. It's the seniors pay taxes and have been paying taxes forever.
I can remember, as I said earlier, I was a member of the school committee for quite a few years. I can remember standing in town hall and we were asking for a lot of money. And I looked around and I saw a lot of senior citizens there and not too many young faces. And I looked at my wife and I said, I don't think this is going. It's going to go down in failure. It didn't. It was overwhelmingly supported.
Wonderful.
Senior citizens get a bum rap, quite frankly.
I agree with
when
that.
it comes to public spending. They want value for their dollar.
Right.
They just don't want to throw money at anything, but they want value for their dollar. If you can make your argument of what is needed, they will purchase it.
Yes.
If you can't, don't expect to win.
Very good.
And I like that philosophy because they've earned their money, and they've earned the right to tell us how to spend it. So it's.
I agree. And if we had some of these seniors politically spending our money, I think we'd have a few more dollars in the bank than we do now.
Yes, yes. Are they frugal? I would say that they're, yes, frugal. However, they're also outgoing. They're also charitable.
Yes.
The things that I look around town that have been given through donations, given through taxations, given just out-of-pocket expense things that come from seniors is unbelievable. When you, as a grandparent, we're constantly approached by our grandchildren and our own children, as a matter of fact, for contributions to different events and stuff. And we give.
Right.
And it's time now for the seniors to say, what have I given to myself?
Absolutely.
We gave to our kids, we gave to our grandchildren. Maybe it's time now that we take a breath and say, it's time for us.
Yep.
And building a senior center is going to be difficult. It may require tax dollars, but I will tell you this, that we're doing everything in our power in meeting with developers to try to find an alternative way of building a senior center for Sandwich.
Very good.
We have been approached, I'm at liberty to say it, we have been approached by at least 2 developers that have offered us buildings, either outright purchase or outright long-term lease, or lease with an option to purchase, or anything along those lines. It's interesting.
So you have options.
We have options, and we're looking for them. And when I go to the seniors, or if I go to the town and say, look, we're asking for your money, I want to make sure I've done my homework.
Good for you.
I want to make sure that I'm giving them the value that they're looking for that dollar.
Wonderful. I also want to bring up the fact that, and I believe in mentioning this on a daily basis, that seniors are not old people.
No, they're not. No.
They give back.
Yes.
They like to give back.
Yes. I'd like to see the town change its attitude towards the seniors. I mean, we're almost like the 50-pound, 500-pound gorilla in the room. Everyone knows we're there, but nobody ever wants to talk about it. And when a town meeting was this past Monday, and when you go to town meeting, there was a great mix of senior citizens there as well as middle-aged and younger people. I was happy to see the younger age and middle-aged people there.
Very important.
Normally, it's
Seniors. Right.
Getting people involved is a good thing. So I'd like to see the attitude in town change a little bit, but I also would like to see maybe government take into consideration the numbers of aging people in this town and take a different attitude as far as their meetings are concerned. We have to go downtown to Town Hall at night to have a meeting with the selectmen and talk to them. It's with parking extremely limited, if existent at all, in that immediate area. There's been questions raised on whether or not maybe once a month to have a meeting during the day.
Wow. That's a thought.
Not necessarily there, maybe someplace else.
Sure.
That could be accessible to seniors. And that doesn't necessarily just mean the selectmen. Maybe quite a few of our boards that hold public meetings that are seen on TV
Sure.
would have more visitations by seniors if they were a little bit more giving in some of their time other than just nighttime.
Wouldn't it be nice if they had the meeting at the room over at the
Human services,
the
where
human
they used to?
services.
Yes, I know. But again, if during the day,
Sure.
that's what's needed. Nighttime is difficult. It's difficult for seniors to get around and drive at night.
Yeah.
Some of our town buildings are not friendly to people that have mobility issues. Matter of fact, 90% of the town buildings are not friendly to
Oh, they're not
seniors.
access?
No.
Oh.
And that's an entirely different issue. And
Oh, yeah, we won't go there,
yeah,
but
we
that
won't, maybe
that
we
is a
don't, maybe we
concern.
shouldn't go there. But with mobility issues, they have a problem. Town hall is one of the places where people may be able to get to the second floor with ease. A couple of our schools will be that same way, but the rest of the buildings, the verdict is out.
Wow. It's important for these things to be brought up, Jim.
I know.
Very important, because those people who
I
are
know.
working in this area, I'm sure, don't think about it. You know, they certainly don't think about it on a regular basis.
No, they don't. No, they don't. And there's, I want the seniors to be aware of the fact that you can also work off some of your taxes by working for the town and getting a tax break on your real estate. The trouble is, if you have a mobility issue, you're limited as to how you can help anybody in this town. The permitting process at a building in the industrial park, you can't get up the stairs, it's very steep. If you have a mobility issue, they have to come down and talk to you at the first floor.
So that if someone were volunteering to
You'd be limited
work in
as
that
to,
office.
yeah, you'd have to, it'd be the old town hall downtown.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe on the single floor someplace, but the town hall annex, which was an old bank, and still looks like an old bank, is multi-levered, and there's no handicap accessibility between one floor and another on that in that building. And if you go in the back door thinking that you could be able to get in there, there's 3 or 4 different levels, even in the cellar.
Sure.
So, as I said, it's a bank.
Yeah.
It was one of those things the town needed a building,
Yeah.
and that was their answer. Town
And it's
needed.
amazing. You do with what you have, which is very true.
It wasn't a knee jerk. It was done intentionally. They had asked for a town hall, which no, because it was so large and so costly.
Right.
And they came back with purchasing 2 or 3 different buildings. One in the industrial park, the bank next to the Daniel Webster, and we have what we have.
Right. Yeah. So, tell me about what other things you have planned for raising money for the Council on Aging.
Well, we had a challenge going on, and I think we may have made the challenge. We had one senior in town said he'd give us $1,000 towards a new building if we could raise $1,000 before Thanksgiving, and we did.
Oh, Oh, how wonderful.
So we do have a building fund, and we're keeping that money completely separate from everything else because we want to, no matter what happens with the building, we want to have some money set aside for whatever
Of course.
ever reason. So that's there, and it's building up, and it's nothing, nowhere near what we need.
Right.
It's a few $1,000s sitting there, and we want to be able to tell people it's there. We need donations.
Wouldn't it be nice if some other people would step up to the plate and do the pledge also? That's fascinating.
We've talked about a building pledge where people would say, okay, I'll give you X amount of dollars per year for 10 years.
Right.
We are tax deductible because we are tax exempt.
Right.
Nonprofit organization. And that would be nice to raise money. I don't know in this climate how long people could plan on keeping up their pledges as they keep going.
Right,
So you don't want to put them in a position of saying yes today and then worrying about it tomorrow on
That's
whether or
very
not they keep
true.
it up.
Very
So until we get a little bit better on in the economy, maybe that's something that should be revisited at that
But
point.
if you had one person who pledged $1,000, there might be some others out there who could do the same.
Yes, I know.
And that really could escalate.
And it'd be great. And even now, some of the money that we do raise through different things, through membership, I think it's $11 per year to be a member of the Friends. We put that towards buying things for the council, like furniture or chairs for the meeting room, on
Very good.
things that would be needed for the seniors.
Do you have a lot of members at the Friends?
We have, I guess the answer to that is we send out a mailing once a month, and over 1,500 addresses go on those mailings. It's a newsletter. So I guess you could say that that's where we begin.
Right.
It's we get 1,500 people saying, yes, I'd be very, very interested in what's going on with our seniors. And that's a plus.
That is a plus. That's wonderful. May it continue.
Yeah.
Do you have anything coming up for the holidays?
In the first week in December, the Friends are having a Christmas party at Daniel Webster. And
how nice.
It's the second year we've had it there, and it's nice. It has an ability for the people to get together and say hi, Merry Christmas, and what have you. It's also at the beginning of the week with, I believe, for Christmas and sandwich as well. So we tie that together and what have you. I'm going to be trying to, in the meantime, to come up with a guest speaker for that. I don't know who yet. I don't want to say yet. I'm still working on that. So see if we can have a nice turnout.
So Christmas and Sandwich begins.
It's usually the first week in December. Now I don't have the dates on that yet, but
That's okay.
It's usually the first week in December, first full week, I believe.
Yeah, because we're almost there.
Tell me about it.
Time's a passing. So are there other things that you've come up with for making money for the Friends?
We have a lot of ideas being bantered about, and it takes people.
Oh, yes.
To come forward.
Yes.
We need to get our seniors out and say, look,
I want to be
we're
part
active.
of this.
We're here.
Right.
This is our goal. Can you help
Yes.
us get there?
Yes.
And I think that once they see that there's an organization in place and that they know where they're going, they're going to come forward. And
you have a lot of volunteers
Yes.
at the
Yes, we do.
council also.
yes,
And maybe we can let other seniors out there know that.
yeah, the council members themselves are very, very active in senior activities, no matter who puts them on. So I can't say enough about the council. They were appointed by the selectmen, but Jesus, they really do a lot of good things here. The Friends, likewise.
Very
and
good.
we supplant with their efforts. And and look forward to continuing that. It's a joint effort. It's a joint
sure.
effort. And the more seniors we can get involved, the better off we are, because then we hear from them as to what their needs may be. And that's when we get into the planning stages as to how to come up with those programs.
Sure.
And it's great.
And the more individuals you have out there, the more diverse the needs are. And
well, you know, when you bring up the needs, I just want to briefly touch on a couple of things. We know that the healthcare bill, the federal healthcare bill, has been amended. That some of the long-term senior care has been taken out of it. We don't know what that means at the local level, but it usually means there's going to be a hit coming in Medicaid as well as Medicare.
Right.
And usually when there's cuts at the federal and state level, it's thrown under the shoulders of your local people, of local. Right now, we don't have the facilities to take care of the population that's coming.
Right.
Such as adult daycare.
That's a big one.
Yeah, exercise programs, nutrition programs, all those things that are necessary as you get older, and we need a place to do these things.
Right.
The Human Services Building is not the place. Mm-hmm. It's embarrassing to see people be visited by the nurse there, and they have to sit in a closet to have their feet examined or what have you, and have their blood pressure taken or whatever. We just don't have the place for it to happen. And that's
but they do come in. They do come in to visit the nurse.
They do come in.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had a meeting with a contractor. We had to go through the meeting hall that was in the middle of yoga and interrupt them in order to find some place to go sit and have a chat, because we're limited. We're very limited as to what we can do. Mm-hmm. It's overdue. It's overdue, and I think the seniors know that. Don't sit at home and keep your mouth closed. We've got to hear from you all the time. Mm-hmm. It's not the squeaky wheel gets the grease. It's you need help. We can do what we can to give you that help or direct you to it. Mm-hmm. Just facing the problems yourself isn't the way to go. That's not what this country's about.
And we've already talked about how older people think about money, et cetera, et cetera. They also think that they are not as bad off as some other people, so they have a tendency of holding back.
Yes.
It's not complaining.
They're afraid. They're afraid they'll be taken the wrong way.
Yes.
That if they complain that they need not necessarily medical care, but maybe just human contact type care.
Right.
Which
is very important. That's why we're doing all of this.
To sit in your house day after day and by yourself that's not conducive to anything. No. To be active, to get out is.
Yep.
And
keeping your brain active.
Yes.
Yes.
We have active 85-year-olds and inactive 60-year-olds.
Yeah.
And so it works both ways.
Yes.
It works both. And I'd like to invite the people. Good. Give us your ideas. Give us your concerns.
Wonderful.
I'm not here to say give us your money. That's not it. No. Give us your concerns. What are your needs? So that what are your projected needs?
Right.
So that we can also project what we will need for programs, not just today, but for tomorrow.
Well, thank you again for being here with us. And this is Robbie Haig for Sandwich Seniority. And I'm hoping we'll see you again real soon. Thank you.